I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been waiting patiently on me to post again. Honestly, where does the time even go? I barely got to do any fall activities this fall. I can't believe the summer, too, just came to an end as well. Yeah, I've been wanting to post I'm gonna try not to spook myself right now, because I am home alone and it's nighttime, and this honestly is the perfect ambiance for this kind of October special ASMR video. I'll get into a couple things, but mainly what this ASMR video is gonna be about my own paranormal experiences. I have probably dozens of paranormal encounters, and I'm going to try my best not to spook myself since I'm by myself. But anyways, it is hard at times to figure out when I can sit down in a peaceful setting and make an ASMR video. It's just never really quiet here, but since I have the house to myself tonight, I really wanted to treat you guys and make you guys an ASMR video, let you guys know what I've been up to, just briefly, and just make it a really good spooky season ASMR video. I'll go over some of my own ghost stories, spooky things, strange experiences. We'll go into depth a lot about it. So I did recently get a new job, and it's been going really good. It is a full-time job, so it is hard for me to find free time to be able to sit down in a quiet setting and create ASMR. It's just not usually quiet here, but since I have this opportunity, I really wanted to take advantage of it. But first, let me color this in. I love Clinique's Black Honey lipstick. It is just the most beautiful shade ever. It's the perfect shade. It looks like my lips are cherries. I wish my lips could always just look like this. And it's such a perfect autumnal color. It's so perfect. So I tried to match the vibe and wear autumnal colors. I got this adorable orange cable knitted or just knitted knitted cardigan at Burlington, and I think it was like $6. So I highly recommend, if any of you guys out there are trying to build your fall wardrobe, definitely check out places like Burlington, because they have really good deals at Burlington. I refuse to buy a cardigan that's $20. That's ridiculous. No one piece of clothing should be $20. A jacket, I can understand. I can understand a jacket being that price, but a cardigan, let's be for real, that is ridiculous. Nobody wants to spend that much on a cardigan. Okay. And then I do have some things from Temu I could show you guys if you're interested. I probably will go over it. I'm gonna try to make this a nice long video for you guys. You guys deserve it. You guys have been so patient with me, and I appreciate you guys a lot. It's been a rough year, so, and just life gets crazy. It's hard to keep up with everything. Okay, let's see. Where to begin? What story should I tell you guys? I think I'll start with less spooky ones and work my way up to the over the top really creepy ones, or else I don't want to creep myself out. I don't want to creep myself out too much in the beginning, or else I'm gonna want to stop talking about it. So let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to think of when my first paranormal encounter was. My mom has some really spooky ones that send chills. Maybe another video I'll go into depth about hers, but let me start with my own first. So, when I was a little girl, about 6 or 7, me and my family, we lived in this small apartment by the train tracks, and there was some lore about these train tracks that apparently people and children all the time would either get caught on the train tracks or just people going missing around the train tracks. There was a whole lore about the train tracks by our apartment. So I believe that's where all the paranormal activity stems from, in that area. Anyways, was 6 or 7. I was in my bedroom, and it was bedtime, and I was supposed to be sleeping. And the way the apartment was it was sort of a long hallway, and my bedroom was at the beginning of the hallway, and my parents' was at the end of the hallway. And so there was some distance. Anyways, you know, being that age, you have all your toys that you like to line up on your bed, like all around your bed. I loved doing that. I loved setting up all of my plushies and stuffed animals, and I would kind of put them in a horseshoe around my bed, kind of like a barrier. And I'm sorry if I'm bad at storytelling. I am all over the place when I tell stories. That might annoy some of you, but I just don't have the best memory, but I try my best with telling my encounters and my stories. So anyways, that is how I had my bed made, and that's how my bed was set up. Anyways, my mom had already put me to bed and had told me it was bedtime and I needed to be sleeping. But, you know, being that age, you are extremely just full energy, and it is so hard at that age to go to sleep. Like, it is so hard at that age to wind down and sleep. So instead of listening to my mom, I was up in my bed, sitting up like this, and you know, I was just playing with my stuffed animals and moving them around in my bed and just doing whatever to entertain myself, to not have to fall asleep. And my mom heard me down the hall, and she heard me making noise, and she was like, "Mariah, I hear you. Go to bed." And I heard her, so I would stop whatever I was doing, and I'd wait for it to go quiet for a few minutes, and then I'd go back to whatever I was doing and just continue playing. And this happened a couple times, with my mom having to tell me, "Mariah, I can hear you. Go to bed." And after a couple times of this, my bed shook. Like, it was as if someone was standing at the end of my bed and had grabbed on to both of the little leg stands of the bed and just shook it as hard as they could, because all of my toys and everything that was on my bed, all of them fell off my bed. Everything fell off. And I wasn't even moving around. I was sitting perfectly still, and I was holding toys and looking at them and whatever. they just all fell off. That violent shake of the bed. I was so freaked out that I forced myself to go to sleep. I was so spooked about that. My mom had weird experiences too in that apartment. But that was definitely one of the first encounters I remember that really freaked me out. Let's see. We did live in Maine. Very, very short time period when I was a toddler, and it was a giant apartment complex, and this huge apartment complex, it happened to have been a hospital before they turned it into a apartment complex. So I always had a really odd feeling about the place we lived in Maine. I never knew the lore behind the apartment complex. I never knew it used to be a hospital. It wasn't until I got older that my mom told me it used to be a hospital. Because, you know, she didn't want to freak me out. She knows I get spooked easily. Anyways, I don't know if any of you ever had to make like life-size portraits of yourself in preschool or kindergarten. It was like you laid on a piece of poster board and they traced around you on the poster board, and you cut it out and then you colored in to make it look like you. Well, I had one of these from school, and my mom, she thought it was really, really cute. So she had hung it up in my bedroom, and one night I was having trouble falling asleep, and I looked up at the wall of my life-size cutout of the poster board of it being me. Oof. I have to check behind myself. I'm getting spooked. I looked up at the wall, and the poster board of me was dancing. It was dancing. The arms and the legs were moving around, and it was dancing. That's so freaky. I actually had forgot about that experience for a long time until I had seen some arts and crafts project, and it reminded me of the one we had to do in either preschool or kindergarten, and it just reminded me. Really freaky, really freaked me out. Okay, let's see. Let me see if I can remember which one's next. My nose is itchy. It's spooky season, so I gotta let you guys know all the best freaky stories and strange encounters I have had, because you guys are so sweet. You guys are so sweet, and I really appreciate you guys watching my content and just being very understanding with everything. And I love you guys. I really do. I love you guys. Anyways, let's see. What next encounter should we talk about? Let's see. So those were ones when I was a little girl. And then it wasn't until a little burpee, sorry. It wasn't until I was a teenager that like a big wave of paranormal experiences started happening. Let me see. I remember there was this really popular pond that in the area I lived where everybody loved walking around. And this pond is known for it used to having indigenous people residing there. So it's known for a strange activity, but I never knew that until I started doing a little bit of a deep dive of that pond because of my encounter. And man, I had to have been like, I don't remember, but I remember I was a teenager at the time, and all of us would frequently walk around the pond because it was such a tiny pond. You could easily like walk around the entire thing within like 2 hours. And I remember me and this friend, we were there for a couple hours, and it was actually starting to become dusk. And this was the summertime. So we were there for a good while, just walking around, enjoying nature. And I had plans, and I had to go somewhere. I think I had to meet my family at dinner. So we had to leave. And as we were leaving the pond and walking away from the pond, trying to walk back to the street, I seen it looked like a person, but with the sun hitting them weird. And they were just walking so slow, and they were probably like 10 feet away from me, and they were walking alongside of the pond. And I was just staring at them. I just thought it was so odd that the sun was hitting them in such a weird way that it just made them look stark white, almost glowy looking. And as soon as this thing crossed behind a tree, it was gone. It was gone. And the friend I was with at the time, didn't see it, of course. So I was so mad. Oh, I was so mad. They were like in the middle of a story and I kept trying to interrupt them to show them, but they were too deep in whatever they were talking about to let me interrupt them. Yeah, that was very odd. Let's see. I'm gonna try my best with. It's hard for me to look in the camera because I have to look around when I'm remembering things. So I'm sorry that I'm really bad at looking at the camera. Also, I hope this lighting is okay. I tried to make it to where it's not too bright, that it's a good lighting, that it's not too overwhelming on the eyes, so you're able to fall asleep if you are having trouble falling asleep, that this will be more relaxing to your eyes. I feel like it's getting darker in here. I don't know. Alright, let's see. Okay, let's see. The apartment we lived in when I was in high school, I would be sleeping and you could hear the doorknobs like throughout the apartment. You could hear it go as if somebody was trying to open the door. I think it was either the front door, and then I remember it was also, I could hear it being the laundry room door at the end of the apartment, but I could tell it was one of the inside doors, so it didn't make sense why we would hear stuff like that. And then I remember that apartment that we lived in when I was in high school. Oh my god, that apartment scared me so bad. I would have nightmares about this apartment for years, and for some reason my nightmares were always about the basement. The basement was in my nightmares for years. I don't know why, because the basement was pretty creepy looking, but we just used it for storage and as a laundry room. So maybe like once a week I had to go down there and do laundry, and I would just do whatever I had to do really fast and go back upstairs. But whenever there's other people in the house, whenever your family's home, it's more comfortable to be able to go downstairs because you know someone's nearby in case anything were to happen. But I remember that I had to get clothes ready for school, and I had to wash some clothes for school, and I was downstairs in the laundry room, and I was either putting stuff in the washer or moving it to the dryer, And I remember hearing this really weird staticky voice, and it sounded like it was over my head. It kind of sounded like somebody turning on a radio, or it kind of sounded like I was eavesdropping on someone having a phone call. And it was so mumbled, but I could almost make out what they were saying. And I thought it was a little weird, but I wasn't that spooked. So I finished whatever I was doing. I finished my load of laundry, and I went upstairs, and I told one of my parents that was there in the moment. I asked them, were either one of you on the phone? And nope, none of them were talking on the phone. They were actually just chilling in the living room, like scrolling on their phone. Didn't even play anything on their phone. It was just completely silent in the living room. And they weren't up to anything. So I just thought that was very strange. Like, I don't know why I heard what sounded like somebody talking on the phone, like almost by my head in the basement. So that was very odd. It was, especially with it being staticky, like it was coming through a radio. Let's see. This one. Okay, we're gonna start to get into more creepier encounters. So, it was, I believe it was the summer after high school, and my mom just had my little brother, and she needed me to babysit my little brother while she went off to work. And my mom worked at a store, and she was trying to get as much hours as she could, you know, just having a new baby and everything. She was trying to get as much hours as she could, so she would be working there until midnight. She would leave during the day and she'd be working there until midnight. So I would have to watch my little brother during that time while she went away at work. And this isn't the same apartment I was talking about earlier, but this was a different place. It was a different house, and this house actually has really bad lore about it. Apparently the family that lived in that house before, they all died in really weird circumstances. I don't know if I should get into it because it is morbid, so I don't really want to talk about it because it is morbid about what happened to that family. But anyways, I hated having to visit at that house. It extremely haunted. Anyways, that house I would have to go to of course babysit my little brother, and anytime where was I getting with it? brother to bed wherever he was sleeping at in his room. I'd stay on that floor with him, so I could always be within an earshot in case he needed to call out to me for, any reason he needed anything. So I would watch TV in my mom's room while my little brother was asleep, and I put it at an extremely low volume. Just because I didn't want to wake him, so I put it at a really low volume, and I heard what sounded like a man at the top of the stairs calling out to me, trying to get my attention. I could not make out what he was saying, but he was very loud and he was trying to get my attention, and he was at the freaking top of the stairs on the second floor with us. And I was so scared. I burst out crying. I did not know what to do. I was, oh my goodness. I was so young, so scared. I just started sobbing. I was so scared. And I called my mom and I asked her if the cameras in the house, if anybody broke in, because I was so adamant that somebody broke in. I was so positive somebody broke in. And she told me that there was no way that anybody had broken in, because her phone, she would have gotten an alert. There was security all over the house, like in the entrances and exits. There were that house had a lot of security, because there was children, really young children in the house. And anyways, my mom was just trying to talk me down and said it's not possible that anyone's even in the house, because she would have been alerted and she would have known. The security would have went off if somebody had broken in. Anyways, then she told me that that house was really old, and she had experiences like that too. Whenever I was talking to her on the phone, she told me that she also too heard talking in random parts of the house, and that was kind of like the norm there. So I was like, okay. I hated being over at that house. It was so scary. That was the scariest. Or I would be downstairs and watching TV, and you could hear the pitter-pattering of just footsteps going thunk 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 thunk, of it sounding like somebody pacing up and down the stairs. And the freakiest thing was, I would get really spooked and I would stand up and walk straight to the staircase, and the noise would stop immediately. As soon as I got up, walked to the staircase, the noise would stop. Then I would go back down, sit on the couch, and the noise would start up again. So weird. Hated that house. Extremely haunted. Okay, let's see. This is a big one, and I don't like telling just anyone this story or this encounter experience that I had. I don't want people to think I'm crazy, because this experience is just so off the wall. I completely understand if you guys don't think I'm telling something that actually happened. I totally understand if you guys don't believe. I'm also the same kind of person. Like, I have to experience it in order for me to believe it. I think it's fireworks. Yeah, I have to experience something like that to believe it. Especially when it comes to seeing entities or anything along those lines. I don't really believe other people whenever they talk about seeing stuff like that, because it's just so over the top. It's honestly hard for me to believe in it. But now that I encountered such a once in a lifetime experience, I can definitely see things like this happening to other people. So I get it if nobody believes this story. Totally get it, because it's really out there. I really don't expect anyone to believe this, but this did happen to me. It is my experience, and it's easy for me to be vulnerable with you guys. I feel like I can be open about all kinds of things with you guys. Yeah, it's very easy for me to just be vulnerable and let you guys know. So this actually happened when I was living with my grandparents. I'm just gonna say down south. I was living with my grandparents for some point in time down south, and there was a lot of stuff going on in my life at that time. So I had lived down south for I think a year, and I was just all of the time just visiting with family as much as I could. And this experience actually happened to me, and also sorry if my ASMR voice, if I'm like going in and out of it. I'm trying really hard to maintain my ASMR voice, my soft-spoken voice for the video. These are really disturbing experiences, so it's hard to maintain a calm voice talking about it. So please forgive me for that. I hope my voice is still soothing enough even though my voice is going in and out with explaining the stories. So anyways, I would visit this one family member, and where she lived, it was kind of like this apartment community where all the apartments looked the same and they were all stacked up on top of each other, and the apartments were horseshoeing around the parking lot, and the parking lot was giant. And anyways, I was staying over at their apartment, my family's apartment. Not really close with them anymore, but anyways, this family member, I would go over there from time to time, and we would watch TV and just make fun of shows and whatever. And I had asked this family member if they wanted to go to Cinnabon because I was getting hungry and I really wanted a treat. And they said, oh yeah, totally, like, we can go, like, let me get my stuff. And her brother had heard our plan and he wanted to go, and she had told him, like, no, like, I'm not paying for you, like, if you want to come, you better bring your wallet, I'm not paying for you. So he was like, okay, please just like wait for me, like, it's just gonna take me a couple minutes to find my wallet. So anyways, we went into her car and we waited for her brother, and we were probably sitting in the car for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and it started to get dark outside, and my family member, it's my cousin, sorry. Anyways, my cousin, she's sitting in the driver's seat, and she just completely, like, stops talking to me, shuts down. She looks like she saw a ghost. Like, I got scared. I thought she was having a stroke. She just immediately stiffened up and was staring up ahead at something, and it was really freaking me out. It's really unnerving seeing someone be so scared like that. And I had looked over at her, and I was like, are you okay? What is happening with you? What is happening right now? What is going on? Are you okay? And she just points and she goes, look at that apartment. And she had told me to look up ahead at the apartment that was in eye view, and being night, you could actually see in these apartments that had their lights on, because for some reason, I don't know why, these apartments either didn't have blinds or they just didn't care to cover their windows. I don't know. But anyways, I look up to what she's talking about, and it was some kind of entity or creature that was in someone's freaking apartment, and it was standing at the window, and the apartment light was on, so I could see whatever this thing was standing in the window in this person's apartment. And this thing was freaky looking. It looked like Slenderman. It was really lanky. It was a dark figure. It had really long fingers. I don't believe it was a person in a costume. It doesn't make sense because it was the summertime. And this thing or whatever, it was very tall because I could actually see. The way it was posing in the window, it kind of was like this. Kind of was like doing this, like trying to look out the window. It was like this, and you could see its scrawny figure. You could see its back, like hunching, like almost like a black cat, like arching its back. It was kind of doing that in the window. So it must have been like 7 feet tall, because its back was hunching to look out the window, and it was just entirely black, and it had like this big head and really long fingers. It was just extremely tall and like disfigured looking. And I don't know why, but it was staring out of the window. I don't know if it was looking out into the parking lot or what, but after like a good minute of us staring it down, I think it was aware that we were looking at it, because it immediately like got away from the window and scurried into the back of the apartment. So I have a few theories of maybe what it could have been. I don't know if it was a demon, or if it was a ghost, or if it was an alien. Like, I have no idea. But the fact that it was in somebody's freaking apartment freaks me out. I hate it. Why was it in someone's apartment? Why is it in someone's apartment? Why is it looking out the window? What is it? Why? Anyways, we were so freaked out after seeing that, we just immediately left. We went to the mall. We didn't say anything to each other at the mall. Like, we didn't want to talk about it. We were at the mall, and we just kind of stayed there as long as we could at the mall until it closed, because we were too scared to go back to where she lived, because we didn't know what the hell that thing was, or if it still even lives there. Yeah, so anytime I've ever told that story or that encounter to anyone, they think I'm crazy, because they don't think that that really happened, or they want to say, oh, it must have been a person with a disability. No, like, I know I've come across like millions, like, or thousands. I come across so many people every day. Like, I've met so many walks of life. Like, I know what a human looks like, and nobody has like 2 feet long hands. Like, that doesn't make sense. Nobody's hands are like looking like rakes. Nobody's hands look like that. That's But yeah, I don't expect you guys to believe that. I know it's really far out there and it's really freaky. I wouldn't want to believe it too. I honestly felt like I was looking at, like, I was watching a scary movie, like it, or some sci-fi movie. Like, it just did not make sense to me. It literally looked like it was weird. It definitely wasn't me seeing something on the TV in somebody's apartment, because it was right up on the window, and I saw it get away from the window and scurry back to the end of the apartment. Anyways, yeah. Let's see. I might end the video at an hour, or else I think it would take a million years for this to upload. But if you guys want me to continue making these spooky story videos, I can. I get it if they're too much and you don't want to listen to them. I get that too. But in the spirit of spooky season, I did want to at least put out at least one ghost story or scary paranormal video for you guys. Those were the most major ones I could remember. I'm sure I'm gonna end up remembering other ones later. I have a lot of other minor stories, just like strange, like almost glitches happening, but I really was not expecting the video to be this long. But I think I'll end it with that story. To really let you guys soak that in. Yeah, that's my major one. I don't really like to tell people that one, just because it's so crazy sounding. I don't really like to tell people that one. I mean, hell, like my mom doesn't even believe it, and I don't blame her. I don't blame her for not believing it, because it's freaky and it doesn't make sense, and I get it. I do. I wouldn't have believed it if it didn't happen to me. Yeah, so I'm just gonna end it on that note. Yeah, so I hope that you guys have a good spooky season. I hope you guys were either entertained by this ASMR video, or you were able to fall asleep to it. Oh, I did want to mention something. Another note too of why it took me a while to come back. I was taking a break from social media. I actually deleted like all of my social media except like TikTok and of course my YouTube channel, because I want to have my YouTube channel. I really enjoy having it, and I really enjoy interacting with you guys, and I love the ASMR community. So I'm always gonna have this channel, so you guys don't have to worry about like me like never coming back, because I love the ASMR community, and I definitely want to grow and build with the ASMR community, and I love interacting with you guys, and I love helping you guys sleep, and I love helping you guys relax, and whatever I can do to make your guys' life or day better. Like, it's just really good. Yeah, but I did want to go into a little bit about why I wanted to delete my social media. Honestly, it would help me to know if there are other people who feel the same way about social media. I feel like social media is very toxic, because I'm gonna be honest, I had a horrendous time in high school. Like, and I know it sounds lame, like I'm almost 30 and I'm still tormented over the idea of high school and I'll still get reoccurring nightmares about high school. But anyways, I bring that up because, Facebook and all of the social media accounts I would have would keep reintroducing me to people I knew in high school, and it just brought back like all of these memories of like the bullying and how high school was literal hell for me. And every time I kept being reminded of people from high school, it would send me back into nightmares. So if anyone who knows me was wondering why I'm not on social media anymore, or if they can't find me, that is why. Because social media is toxic, and it kept tormenting me of my high school past. Yeah, does anyone else feel the same way about high school? Like, do you feel like it's too much to be reminded of those memories? Because the only way for me to move forward is if I just completely disconnect from those social media outlets like that. Like, I don't want to be reminded of those people. Yeah, I don't want to remember it. Yeah, I'm just curious if any of you guys relate, if you guys feel the same way about it. Yeah, and if you guys want to talk about it with me, you can. You guys can make a comment about it in the comments. Yeah, feel free to comment on any of the experiences I talked about or the social media thing. I will gladly answer your guys' comments. I'm always reading I'm always reading them, and I love seeing what you guys write me. Yeah, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried my very best to make it as long as I could. Hopefully this video doesn't take too long to upload. But yeah, let me know what you guys think and what your guys' thoughts are on any of the things I discussed. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the video or fell asleep or was just relaxed. Okay? Bye, guys. Kisses. Kisses. Bye. Good night. Have a spooky season. Bye-bye.